Hello everyone, I'm Zishansha and welcome to Zinteractive. In 3D Studio Max, there are a number of ways to create 3D models. One of the most notable way is to create them through 2D shapes. So in this lesson 8, we will learn how to create 2D shapes. So let's start and learn how to make 2D shapes.
Look what I made. I made a heart.
I made this.
He looks like someone.
He is?
So let's see how to make splines in the 3D Studio Max. Now, to create anything, you have to go to either create option from the top menu, or you can go in the control panel and in the command panel, and you will see here you have the create option, which is the one in the beginning. Okay. So the first one is the create option. In the create option, you will see there are several other options. The first one here is the geometry. The second one here are the shapes. And in the shapes, we have splines. Now, what are the splines basically? Okay, let me create a rectangle here, okay, from the front viewport so that it will not lie on the floor, because if I will make it from the top viewport, you will see it will be lying on the floor, which I don't want. Okay, I want it to be standing, so that's why I made it from the front viewport. Okay, so here you can see that we have this spline, like a rectangular spline over here. Now, I will go back to my geometry and I will make a box. Okay, now let's see what is the difference between a 2D like a spline and a 3D like a primitive. Now, what is basically a spline? Spline is a 2D shape made in a 3D environment. Okay, and what is a primitive? It is a completely 100% 3D object. Now, this rectangle or this box here is basically a 3D primitive. It have width, it have height, and it has depth as well. Okay, but on the other hand, the shape that we have here is basically, it's a 2D shape, okay, which is in a 3D environment. It have, you can say, height and width, but there is no depth. Okay, that's why it is a 2D shape made in a 3D environment, because it does not have any kind of depth. Let me delete this and let's go back to the rectangle shape here. Okay, so this is what we created, like a rectangular shape out of splines. Okay, so in the splines you have all different kind of shapes here. The one that I made is basically the rectangle shape, and if you want to modify, you can simply go to the modify option. You can control its width, you can control its its length, its width, and also you can control its corner radius. So if I will increase it, you can see that the corners are becoming smoother, and you can see it's more curved basically, but I will keep it 0. So this is how you can make different kind of shapes. But as it is a 2D shape, so I always prefer to work on orthographic view, because there is no depth in it. So working in perspective viewport, okay, doesn't make a sense. So you have to work, it's better to work on the orthographic view. So I cannot see clearly what it is from the top viewport. I cannot see clearly what how it is from the left viewport, but from the front viewport I can clearly see what it is. Okay, it's a rectangle. So I will make this viewport bigger, okay, and I can work on it. So let's see what we have here inside the splines. So let me delete this one and let's go to the line. Line is the first one. So basically, how you create a line. When you click one time on the screen, so it will create a starting point. Then you can click the second point, then third, fourth, then you can keep on going, and once you are done, you can go back to from where you started, and you can close it. And it will ask you, do you want to close the spline? Your spline, you can say, yes, I want to close the spline. That's all what you need to do, and the spline is being created. Okay, now if I want to change the shape of it, I can do that. Okay, what I need to do simply is that I have to go to the modify, and when I go to modify, it gives me 3 different kind of selection options here for the spline that I created. The first is the vertex. What are the vertex? Vertex are these points. Okay, the points that I created are the vertex. So if I will click on this vertex, so all these points will be highlighted as white color and the last one will be in the yellow color. So you can click on any one of these and you can start adjusting them. Okay, you can start moving them around. Suppose it's not straight. Now how I can make it straight? To make it straight, there are more like a couple of ways to do that. The most common way is to turn on my snaps toggle and then right click it, and this time I will choose vertex. Okay, and then grid points, that's fine, and I will close this one. Now if I will take my vertices, okay, let me take the move tool, and I can simply go to these grid points. Okay, you can notice that it is snapping to the grid points. So this one is snapped to this grid point, and this one, if I will take it and try to snap it to this grid point and then turn this off, you can see now it's clearly straight. So you can use snapping tool, and inside the snapping tool you can use vertex or segment, whatever you want. Okay, let me uncheck these and close it. So this is how you can adjust it. Now the second one here is the segment. Segment is the line between your vertices. So one vertex is here, one vertex is here, so this line will be one segment. This line will be one segment because it is between two vertices. So the lines between each vertices is basically a segment, you can say. So if I will click on segment, I can go to each segment. I can move this around. Okay, y-axis, it will always remain straight because I made these two straight. So now I don't have to worry about if I'm moving from the y-axis. I can move it on the x-axis as well. So this one I can move around. So basically you can adjust your shape in this way as well. Okay, those who are working in Adobe Illustrator, it will become quite easier for them because it is the same process they used in Adobe Illustrator. So I can move this one here, so whatever you want. Now the last one, the third one, is the spline. Spline itself is the whole thing, just like this. Okay, so if you want to select the whole thing, you can select it. Okay, now you have like a lot of options here. So there are a lot of these options at the bottom. You will see that, which we will get back to it in a moment. Okay, so now you have understood how the like selection modes works inside any spline that you make. So I will deselect this one. Now I'm out of the selection mode. Now the whole spline shape itself is selected, not a single like component of it. Okay, now if I click here, this arrow, you can see that here I as well have the same thing. Okay, so you can select from here or here, up to you. If I will go to line, the whole line will be selected. Now let me delete this line, go back to the create mode, and I'll create this line but in a different way. So first what I did was I was just clicking like this. Okay, now what if I click one time, but the second time if I want to click, I will not click one time here. What I will do is that I will click my mouse with the left button of my mouse and drag it. So you will notice that that point is now converting into a curve, a smooth curve. Okay, and then I will leave it. And also you can see that my drag type here is automatically turned into Bezier. Okay, and you can turn that like later on to smooth or corner, whatever you want in the end. Okay, and then I can click one time. If I will click one time, then it will be a corner, this one. Okay, so initial type, what I chose was a corner. I just pressed one time over here, so that's why the initial says it was a corner. Okay, so drag type, whenever I'm dragging, it will be always Bezier, but when I'm clicking one time, it will be always corner. So I can click and drag again, so it will be Bezier. Okay, and then in the end I will again press one time. I can click and drag so it will become smoother, but I will not do that. I will just close it. Okay, now I'm done with this. Now if I go to modify, okay, or simply go to modify, or if I can go here or here, so it's up to you, and I take vertex and click on the one that I dragged, like suppose this one. So what do you see? You see a handle, okay, just like the handle you used to see in the Adobe Illustrator if you're working in the Adobe Illustrator. Okay, now I can move it X and Y, but I cannot, like I can move it on the X axis, but I cannot move it on the Y axis. So what I need to do here is that simply whatever axis I want to move, I have to click on that axis and start moving it. Like now I can move it on the Y axis. Now if I want to move it on the X axis, I cannot move it on the X axis, it is locked to Y. So I have to click here on the X axis and then I can move it on the X axis. If I want to move it on the Y, so I have to click here and then I can move it on the Y axis. So one thing I can do in this way. Here if I click it, there will be no handle because I didn't drag here, I just clicked one time. But here I dragged, so if I'll click it, I will get this. So if I want to move up and down, already Y is activated. So but if I want to drag it left and right, so I have to click here on the X axis, and I can do that here. Okay, so this is how simply you can control your like handles bezier. So these are beziers basically. Okay, now what if I don't want it to be a bezier? I want it to be a corner. Okay, so what I can do, I can simple right click. When you right click anywhere in the 3D Studio Max, you will always get a quad menu. What is a quad menu? 4 menus. Okay, one is for tool 1, other one is for tool 2, then you have for display, then you have for transform. So you have 4 different menus at the same time. Okay, tool 1 basically shows me all these options here, and the option I'm looking for is to convert this into a corner. So when I click on the corner and leave my mouse right button, because my right button is activated right now, so if I leave my right button, it will become a corner. Okay, now I can again click on it and I can go to bezier, so it will become bezier. Okay, and then I can control this one again like the way I want it. Or what I can do is that I can right click here and I can go to bezier corner. Now what is bezier corner? It is half bezier, half corner. Why? Because I can modify one handle at a time. Okay, so just like this, so both of them are not working at the same time. Okay, so you can make some shapes that requires, you know, to move them with the help of like when your one handle is being working. So something like this kind of shape will be only made when your single handles are working at their own specific moment. Okay, so that's why that's how your bezier corner will work. Now we have here the smooth. If I click on the smooth, so you will see that it is smooth now. It is smooth now, but there is no handle anymore. Whereas this have handle, this does not have handle. So it is already smooth, but there is no handle. So I can move it anywhere I want, but there will be no handle. Okay, so that's one way to do that. Now suppose if I go back to my bezier, okay, and try to, you know, change these and make them look like this. Now I don't want this. I want to go back to my original state. So what I can do is that I can right click here and there is an option here called reset tangents. So if I click on reset tangents, so all these handles go back to its normal position where it was originally before, and it resets it. Okay, so basically these handles, or you can call them tangents as well, can go back to their original position if you are resetting them. Now that's how you can make a shape with the line, and you can modify them just like this. Now other thing is that suppose if I click here and I want this to be bezier, I can do a bezier here and it will turn into bezier. Okay, or you can do so many other things to this like this corner. So let me zoom in and let's go to the modify panel here and see what are the options that you have. Already the vertex is selected, so I will uncheck this one. Okay, and then I have here geometry. Okay, so I'm not doing any kind of geometry here, so I will not work on this part of the geometry. I will go a little bit down, and here I have one option which is called fillet, and then I have chamfer. Okay, now in the fillet I have two ways to do fillet. What is fillet? It will take a corner and turn that corner into a smooth curve. Now if I will increase the amount of fillet, you will see that it is becoming smoother or back to sharp. Okay, that's how the fillet works. I have here chamfer. Chamfer is opposite. It will make it look sharper, but it will divide that into two vertices. Okay, so sometimes you have this kind of shape. And suppose if you are done with this, so you can select these two, okay, and then turn them into corner, because they are not corner, they are Bezier corner right now. So you can select them both, right click, make them corner, and then I can increase their fillet. So I can have this kind of shape. Okay, now one more thing I can do here is that, let me undo this. Instead of changing these values, okay, I can click over here, okay, for fillet or for chamfer here. Like suppose chamfer, if I click here, now I can go here on this point and you can see this kind of a cursor. I will click my mouse left button and then I can drag my mouse up and down and it will do the same thing as I was doing here. This one is much more better, okay, if you want to do fine tuning. So this is how you can easily do with the by highlighting the button here. Now what I can do, I can select these, okay, same thing I can do, I can right click here, okay, and then make them corner, because with the Bezier I will not get the right fillet result. Now I will click the fillet and I can do the fillet here. So it's more easier to do in this way because it will make it like, you know, like very fine tuning it will do. Whereas if you will change from here, the issue is that the values goes really quickly up and down and you might not be able to control it. Okay, so now if I will uncheck this one, okay, and zoom out so you can see how the shape looks right now. Okay, now many of you will have a question like, you know, we have added these points. What if we want to add more points? Because already the shape is being made. What if I want to add more points to it? So what simply we have to do here is that, first of all, you have to make sure that your line is selected. You have to deselect all of these and click on the line. Okay, before my vertex was selected, so what I did, I just clicked on the line. So now none of these are selected. So I can right click here. After right clicking here, you will see that I don't have those options anymore because none of these components are selected. Okay, so I will not go to tools 1. Now the option that I'm looking for is in tools 2. Okay, and this is called refine. So when you go to refine, remember you have to right click to get these options, and when you right click, you always have to leave your right click button on the option that you want. So I'm on the refine, I will leave my finger from the right click, okay, and I will be in the refine mode. So now if I am in the refine mode, you can see that whatever line I can go, I will see this kind of icon. This means it is allowing me to add any other vertex that you want. Like suppose if I click here, a vertex will be created here. If I click here, one more vertex will be created here. Here if I click, there will be. So I can add as many I want. And then if I want to go out from this mode, what I simple need to do is that in the geometry there is option here, refine. So either you can right click to get this option or you can click from here. So I will again click it here, so I will be out of this mode. If I want to refine again, I can go here and click it in the geometry, refine, and add whatever I want. Okay, so this is how you can add more points. Now let's see more of the other things here that we can do. So I will make sure I'm in the vertex mode right now. Now I will go down here, back to where I was before in this area. So we now know how to do the fillet. Now we know how to do chamfer. Okay. Now, if you will see, this one is basically, you can say yellow. Yellow means this is the starting point and this is also the ending point. But if I don't want this to be starting point or ending point, I can change my starting point and ending point to something else. Why? Because the starting and the ending point really matters in 3D Studio Max. Okay. There are some certain operations that requires to know where is your starting and ending point, okay, which we will do in later classes. But if you want to change your starting and starting and ending point, you can change that. Okay, this is basically called the first point. Okay, so now if I don't want this to be my first point, I can select any other thing, like suppose any other point, like suppose this vertex. If I will select it, and then if I will go over here in the option, there is a button here that says make first. So if I click here, okay, and deselect, so you will see this is now yellow. This means which means that this is now my first point. So whatever operation I will do on the 3D Studio Max on this spline, it will always count this as the first, and the last point means the first point. Okay, so this is how you can change these. Okay, another thing is, let me select the segment and then select this segment and delete it. Now I have deleted this. Now I will go back to vertex. Now I don't have this like as a closed shape. What I have right now is an open shape. Okay, this is not a closed shape anymore because I deleted the segment between these two vertices. Now, many times this will happen with you, that you are making a shape and then you have a gap. Now, how to fill that gap later on once you have created your shape? So to do that, first thing is that you have to make sure that, suppose I don't want to create a line between that and join. Okay, my goal was not that to create a line here and join them. The reason I deleted that, I want to create a different kind of shape which kind of looks like this. Okay, so that's why I deleted that. But I have just placed these two next to each other, but they are not joined together. If I will move any one of this, if I will move any one of these, so that means they are moving like separately. If they are moving separately, means they are not joined together. Okay, so what I need to do is that, first of all, I have to make sure they are completely like they are actually placed closed to each other. And to do that, what I can do is that I can just click on any one of these and place it closer to each other. Okay, but to do it quickly, okay, what I can do is that I can select both of these. Okay, and then I have an option here which is called fuse. What does the fuse do? Fuse takes two vertices and put them on the average distance together. So if I will press fuse, so you will see that it calculated the average distance and placed both of them together. Now still they are not one. If I will move, you can see that there were these both were not one, they were separate. They were just placed next to each other very closely. So I will undo it. Now, how to join these? To join these, we have an option called weld. Now I will select these both, so you can see that bezier of this and bezier of this, that means both of them are selected. So if you will see only one bezier, so that means this one is selected, not the other one. But if I will select both of them by making a marquee around it, that means both are selected. Here you will see just opposite, like just on the top of connect, I have weld. The value of weld depends how far your objects are. Right now they are very close to each other, so lower value will also work. But if they are far away, so the value have to be higher. Okay, but it's always better to fuse them and then weld them, so you don't have any issues. So if I'll press weld, so now you can see the bezier is gone. The reason the bezier is gone, because this has become 1. So if I deselect anywhere and click on it again and move, you can see they both are moving as they are 1. So what I can do now, it's up to me. I can go to fillet, I can fillet it, okay, or whatever I want, okay, any other shape. So this is how you can create shapes as well. So this is one more way to do that, like deleting segments, joining them together, creating something out of it. So like many other different things you can do with this. Okay, now other thing that we have here is the attach. Okay, now let me go to the line and delete this line and go to the create option, take my line spline, okay, click here one time, click and drag here, and then click here, and I don't want to close it. So what I will do, instead of going to the starting point, I will just right click. If I will right click, what it will do, it will just stop my line drawing over there and it will not do any kind of changes. Okay, so simply I can go back to my modify tool, okay, selection, or I can simply click here, go to vertex, and I will try to adjust these. Okay, so this is something like I want to make, suppose, half of the heart shape. Okay, let me move this one up. Okay, this looks fine from here, but it requires like one more point. So I can click on refine here and click here. Okay, and then I can go to my vertex mode again. Okay, and pull this down, fix it. Okay, now this is not a Bezier, it's a corner Bezier, so I have to right click here and turn this into Bezier. So now it's a Bezier, so I don't have any kind of issue here. Okay, done. Now I want to make a heart shape. I have to make a complete heart shape, so I have to click on the line, so the whole line is selected. Now last like lesson we learned how to make a clone or make a copy of the object. Okay, so what I will do here is that I can just press shift key on my keyboard and move this, so a copy will move. So I want one copy just like this. Now it should be other way around, so I can take my rotation tool and rotate it just like this. And if I want to make sure it is completely 180 degrees, so I have to type here 180 degree, which is fine right now. Okay, so one way to make the other side is this, but I have more easier way to do this. Let me delete this. I can go here, press shift key, move so the clone is made, press OK. Now instead of rotating it, I have an option here on the top called mirror. What it do is that, as you can see, it will flip your object depending on whatever axis you want. Okay, so if I click on the mirror, now it's asking me, okay, do you want to transform? You say yes, I want to transform on x-axis or y-axis or z-axis or x and y or x and whatever. So I will just choose x-axis. Okay, and I can press OK. Easy, right? But more easier what it is, delete it. Instead of making a duplicate, I will directly go to the mirror, and this time, okay, it's fine because it will always take your last setting that you want, that you applied, the last setting that you applied, it always show you that. So this is the like last setting I applied. Fine, I will not change. But in the clone section, you have no clone, copy, instance, reference. So if I press copy and press OK, automatically it will give me a copy. That's all. So I'm done with this very quickly. So mirror will help you a lot in so many ways. Okay, now here I have my other half, this half, but they both are not you know, a single shape. They are separate. Okay, you can see here in the Explorer line 1 and line 2, so they are separate. So how to join them? So you have to attach them. So what I need to do is that my line is already selected here. Okay, make sure the line is selected, and don't select any one of these, just your line, which is the main one. Okay, so I will make sure the line is selected, not any one of these. Then I will click over here in the geometry, attach. Now I want to attach only one line, which is this one, so I will choose attach. But if you want to attach more than one, you can choose attach multiple. Okay, so I can choose attach and then click on whatever I want to attach. I want to attach this one. So if I will go on this part of the line, so you can see the icon changes. This icon represents attach. So you can see here in the icon there is a small circle, okay, and next to that, that small circle is turning into two circles. Okay, so one black circle, one white circle is turning into two white circles. Means black and white are different lines and or shapes, and they are converting into a one shape. So that's what attach do. So it attaches two different shapes. So I will click here, and as soon as I will click, they will become one. So you can see over here they are one. But if you will go to vertex and see or zoom in, you can see they are not welded on the gaps. Okay, here there is a gap and here there is a overlapping. So we have to fix both. We have to fix this overlapping and also the gap which is on the bottom. So I will zoom in and then I will select this. Okay, so make sure both of these are selected. Then I will go down where I was before. So what we did first, we first fused it. So when we press fuse, they both are on the right spot. Then weld it. Now I can go to the bottom one, select this, and I can press fuse and again weld. So in this way, they both are actually in the same, you can say same coordinates. Okay, so this will make it easier. So if I click here, you can see that the x-axis, okay, let me undo that. Okay, x-axis is where 0.66. Here x-axis is on 0.66. If I will not do fuse and just move it manually and then try to weld, so they both will be not on the same spot. Okay, so it's always better to use the fuse options to make your shape accurately at the same spot, and it will be more balanced. Okay, so now I have the heart shape. Now whatever I want, I can do that. I can fillet this part or chamfer this part or whatever you want to do. Other than that, what you can do is that, suppose if I will make a duplicate of this one, put it here, okay, copy for instance, and then I can rotate this one here, put somewhere here. Let me rotate a little bit more. Okay, and put it here, and then what I can do is that I can make a mirror of it. I can click here in the mirror. Okay, x-axis, copy, fine, and there is an offset distance also. Okay, so if I increase or decrease, you can see that it is moving. So that's one other way to do this. Okay, and then press OK. So now I can take this, my shape. Okay, now is this time I will choose attach multiple, and then I can click on the others, the 2, okay, and 3. So I will press Control on my keyboard and select whatever I want. I have selected both of them with the help of Control key and press attach. So when I do that, you can see that it is now one object. Okay, now if you can see, there are a lot of artifacts here. There is an overlapping here, and there is no like there is a mismatch here. So how you can fix this? Okay, to fix this, simple way we can do here, and it's called Booleaning. Okay, so what does the Boolean do? To apply Boolean, I have to select spline. Now why spline mode? Because these are 3 different splines. Before, when we attached them, there were 3 different splines. So what does the spline do? It keeps the history of what they were. There were 3 splines. So if I will go to the spline modes, and if I will click on this, so the whole heart, the single heart will be selected. If I click here, this whole single heart will be selected. At this, so this single heart will be selected. So I hope this is clear now. Now, what I can do is that I want this to be a single object. Okay, so I can go down. Okay, and here I have Boolean. Now there are three different kind of Booleans. Let's see one of all of them one by one. So let's see first intersection. Now what is the intersection Boolean? Intersection Boolean is basically it will take two splines, like suppose this heart or this heart, and find that overlapping part, the intersecting part. Suppose what is the overlapping part? This is the overlapping part. Okay, this one. So what it will do, it will keep only this overlapping part and delete the part that is not overlapping and or the part which is not intersecting. So if the intersection is selected, and if I click on Boolean and then click on this one, so you will notice that the part which wasn't overlapping or intersecting is gone, but the part that was overlapping or intersecting is still there. So that is the intersection. Let me undo it. Now this one is subtraction. Now what does the subtraction do? Now by the way, you can apply them on all of them one by one to get the result you want. Now this one here is subtraction. Okay, now we know what does intersection do. Intersection takes the intersecting point, the one which is here, or you can say the overlapping point, keep that overlapping point or intersecting point and remove the one that are not overlapping or intersecting. Now here we have subtraction. Now what does the subtraction do? Subtraction will take the object which is the shape, the spline which is selected first, like I have selected this one first, and this because as this is red, so that means this is selected. And if I select the second one, okay, the one on which I want the the Boolean operation to be applied, so it will subtract that one from the one which is selected. Okay, like suppose this is selected right now, this heart, and if I click on Boolean and click on this heart, so what it will do is that it will find this whole heart and it will subtract this whole heart from this heart. Okay, if I once I will do that, you will understand. Just notice this shape. Okay, so now if I'll click on Boolean and select the second option, so you can say this is A and this is B, so I will now select the B, and you can see that the whole heart is subtracted from this. So this is what the subtraction do. It cuts, it removes, deletes, it subtracts from the first selected object. Your like your second object, your target objects becomes like a kind of a cookie cutter. A cookie cutter is like, you make a dough and you put the cookie cutters on it and it makes the shape. So something like that, it made a shape. So let me undo this one. Hope you have understood about the subtraction. Now let's see union. Now what does the union do? Union will join two different splines, shapes or objects, whatever we have here, by removing any overlapping part. Like suppose this is overlapping here, so it will remove the overlapping and connect this heart to this heart and make it look like it's a one heart. Okay, so how it will look if I will click on the union, if I click here Boolean and then click on this one, you can see that it removed that intersecting part and converted these two splines into one spline. Now I can continue doing the Boolean on this one as well. It can be applied, it can be used for like these two as well. Okay, so still I'm in the Boolean mode, so that means I can still continue. So I can click on this heart now, and this heart will become a kind of you can say like one object. All these three hearts are now one object, and by removing the overlapping point. Now what we have left is with this. Okay, now you can go to vertex. Now what we can do is that we can take these two vertices. What if I don't want these two vertices? So I can take these two vertices, I can go to fuse and I can do the weld, so they will become one. Now I have this kind of a shape. Okay, so just see, from one heart I made this shape. So Boolean can make your work more easier, and it's like it's kind of a very helpful tool over here. Now here we have the mirror. So what does the mirror do is that whatever mirror option you have. Like suppose this is selected, so if I click on it, so it will mirror in this way. So just notice it got mirrored, but both sides are kind of symmetrical, so you will not get the result. But what if I use this one and then press mirror? So now you can see that it got mirrored in this way. Okay, now if I can do mirror in this direction, okay, and then do mirror, so it will be on both. It will first go left and right, and then it will go top and bottom. Okay, so but I don't want that, or whatever. Okay, so this is how you can do one of the like mirror like operations on it. And one more very important option here is the outline. So if you will see here, we have just over the Boolean, we have outline. Okay, now if I click on the outline and go over here, I can change the outline from here as well, but I will click here, and then when I will go to my spline, my shape, so if I click on it and drag, you can see it is creating an inner outline or outer outline. Okay, but you know, like there is some issue with this one, this area, but don't worry about that, we can fix it later on. What it do, it gives you a border to it. Okay, so you can create outlines like this, so you know, like different kind of things you can make out of it. So I will make it something like this, and I will leave my mouse, and I'm done. But if I want to fix this part, what I can do, I can go to the vertices, I can delete this vertex from here, and then that's all. I have still these two vertices. Okay, so this is how you can actually do the outlining. Okay, so you can do the like you can select the center and then do the outline, but in this shape actually it was not necessary, so I didn't press it. But if you want, you can uncheck it or check it. If you want to apply the outline from the pivot point of your shape, then you don't have to press this. But if you want it to be center and overriding your pivot point, then you have to click this. Okay, so this is how you can create different kind of shapes. So there are a lot of different options here, a lot of different you know, basically you have tools over here, like different options, but the one which I told you right now is the most used one, and which will help you to create your own like shapes. Other you can explore by yourselves, okay, because most of them, they are not like you know used widely. The one which I just taught you right now are the widely used ones. Now one more thing you can do here is that there is an option called soft selection. Okay, now soft selection is turned off right now. Let me do first one thing here. Let me go to the vertex mode. Okay, and then I will select this. Now you will notice that if I select this point and try to move it, you can see this particular point is only moving. But what if I want its surrounding, like suppose this area, to move with this? Because if I want to reshape it, it's a little hard for me, because I have to go here, then move this one, then move this, move these two down. So you know, it will create a little bit a problem for me, because might not be accurate, because I have to reshape a lot. So what does the soft selection tool will do? Soft selection tool give me like you can say like an option to move a single point or a vertex, okay, or a segment, or the whole spline with an effect on the surrounding of it. So if I will click on soft selection, you can see that it is turned on, and if I'm trying to move this, nothing is happening at this point, because I have to increase the fall off. Okay, so if I increase the fall off, okay, as much I can, okay, and then let me increase it more. Okay, now just see, it's not still, if I will move it now, it will not work, because it's undervalued. If I will change it more, now can you see this part is turning blue? Blue means this area is now affected, but mildly, not strongly. If I will increase it more, you can see that it is getting more brighter. If it is turning into yellow, that means it is strongly affected. Okay, if I will increase it more, you can see now others, okay, like here, they are affecting. Okay, blue means mildly affected, and yellow means strongly affected, red means really 100% affected. Okay, so if I will keep on increasing, you can see how the colors are changing. So this is the fall of information through the color. So if I will increase it a little bit more, and then right now you can see maybe I will type it 115, and if I try to move it now, you can see these other objects are moving with it. So this will make it more easier for me to shape. So it helps you a lot. Now this is the graph. Okay, so at this point I have a fall off. I don't have a pinch, because pinch, what it will do, it will remove some of the you can say like the selection, because it will make my curve sharper. Okay, so you can see that, and you can see as I'm increasing, the surrounding become more and more lesser. Okay, so this is how the pinch works, but usually you don't change it. But in some cases, like suppose if you don't want these to be affected, only this area, so you can change the pinch. Maybe you can increase it. So now it's only affecting this area. Now I have bubble here. So what will the bubble do? Bubble will try to bring up this like those area again, but not from the middle, from the sides. Okay, like from the sides here. So now the result will be a little different. So this is how you can change the graph. Okay, but I will keep it as it is. Okay, now this works for the segment also, it works for the spline also. Okay, now you have edge distance also. Now if I click on the edge distance and try to move it now, so it will not be affected completely. So now I have to increase the edge distance and as well here. So edge distance is basically a secondary, you can say a layer over the fall off to affect the surrounding. Okay, now if I will move it, so you can see that this edge which was outside is not affected, so the edge only the inside is affecting. So this is how your edge distance will help you. So if I keep on increasing, then you can see a whole edge, only the one which I have selected is being affected, not the one which is outside. So I will uncheck this one. Now as soon as I will uncheck it, you can see the outside edge is now also affecting. So you can control your edge distance as well. So I hope you have understood about this soft selection as well. Let me go back to the line. Okay, now the last part, if you will go to the rendering option here. Now what does the rendering do? Let me go here back to this viewport. You can see here my shape is here. Okay, let me move it a little bit up, zoom it out. Okay, now what does it do is that if I enable in render enable in render means it will only show in rendering, but I will enable in viewport so I can see and all over the viewports. Now what it will do is that it will convert my 2D shape into somewhat 3D, not 100% 3D. You can say 2.5D. Okay, so if I will click here and then enable in viewport, so you can see that it have a kind of thickness. Okay, now if I'll go here, you can see it have a kind of thickness, like it came like a pipe, but still it is 2D because if there is no 100% depth there, but it converted that into like a renderable 3D you can say a shape. But if you want it to be rendered, so make sure you click on both, otherwise it will not render. Now I am in the radial view or like radial mode, so that means this 3D thing, this 3D touch over here is radial. It looks like a pipe. So I can increase it to make it more thicker or decrease it to look more thinner. So up to you. I can increase the sides. I can decrease sides. Okay, so it will become something like this if there is no side, like it's like 3 sides only. Okay, just like we studied in our last classes about the sides. I will keep it 10. Okay, and then I have another like way to make it renderable, okay, is not radial, rectangular. So if I click on rectangular, it will become flat like a rectangle. So I have a length now, so I can make it length. So you can see now it is getting some depth, okay. So which is okay, which is not still 100% what we are looking for, but it's better than the radial one right now because you're getting something out of it, okay. You can increase the width, okay, and you can also increase the or decrease, or you can adjust the angle. See, the angle is adjusting here, and maybe you can change the aspect of it, like an aspect ratio, so that if you change the length or the height, the width, it works with an aspect ratio here. Let me change the angle to back to 0 so it becomes normal. Okay, so this is how you can make a shape here. Now whatever shape you make here, like whether it is a circle, okay, like suppose, oops, let me go back here, and then if I will make the circle here, bring it, now what will happen is that it will take the setting of your last one, because last one's setting was what? Here, the one that we made, your rendering option were on. So its rendering option is on as well. If you will go in the rendering, you will see that you have the rendering option on. So you have to uncheck these. So always your last setting is always there. Okay, so I made a circle here, but in the circle, I don't have a lot of options here. But here in the shape that I made with the line, I have a lot of options. The reason is that the line is actually a spline when you make. That's why you have a lot of options. The last option is basically its quality, number of steps. Right now it's 6. So if you will increase it, it becomes more smoother. So suppose 12, if I'll make it, it will become more smoother. You can notice that how it became smoother. So 6, it is like this, less smoother, less segments. 12, more segments, more smoother. Okay, but here I don't have any of these options, only a radius or the smoothness, okay, but no other option. So simple, what you need to do if you want that option, you have to right click, go to convert to, and convert to editable spline, and when you do that, you will have all those options that you have in your other tools. So you can see now I have the same option. So I can copy it, this one, okay, and then I can make it smaller by scaling it down, and then I can select these two, okay, or like let me select this one, and I can do the attach and those kind of things. I can take attach this one, and then I can go here and the spline, okay. I can apply Boolean over here and make it as like a shape, something like this, and whatever you want to do here. So you will have a complete shape now, the one that you require. So this is how you can convert a shape into a spline. Okay, simple by right clicking it and just right clicking, convert to. There is no convert to right now because I already converted. So convert to and then convert to editable spline. So I hope now you have understood that when you create something, okay, with the line, so line is already a spline, okay, but other than that, other things are pretty much shapes. So now I know, like now I hope you know how to create splines, how to create shapes, and if you have create shapes, how to convert them into splines. So we will continue new things related to the shapes in our next lessons. So please, if you have still not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe it. Don't forget to click on the bell icon. Watch all my tutorials from the starting till the end, so you can understand each and everything, the important stuff that I am explaining during the the class. And also, please do not download it. Try to watch it 100% online, so I can gain more watch time hours. Okay, so it will become more easier for me to continue with all these great tutorials for you guys. Okay, so till then, take care, and we'll see each other in the next class.